Breaking news tonight, Sean Diddy Combs has been arrested in a Manhattan hotel this evening after a grand jury indicted the music mogul. His attorney tells CNN that he is currently being processed. The charges are unclear as of this moment.
Music mogul Sean Diddy Combs. If you haven't already, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any updates.
And Ellie, not a huge amount of information available tonight, but Elizabeth brought up something that I want you to give us a little bit of insight into. Diddy is here in New York, in Manhattan. He apparently came here in anticipation that something like this might happen. What should we understand about what that might mean? It could very well be that this is a federal arrest being processed here in New York.
Sean Diddy Combs, a name synonymous with music and entrepreneurship, has been arrested. According to reports from CNN, Combs was taken into custody at the Park Hyatt Hotel in Manhattan on Monday evening. This arrest follows a year filled with serious allegations, including sexual assault lawsuits and a federal human trafficking probe.
Sean Diddy Combs has been arrested after being indicted by a grand jury in New York. That's according to the New York Times, also according to TMZ.
We were actually the first ones here. Just all unfolded, Sandra, I would say, less than 10 minutes ago.
What happens here is that the federal government started a case with him. Apparently the search warrant that had his houses in Miami and LA was pre-planned already. They knew they were going to do that. So they have a much bigger case. They're going to be talking to a lot of people about certain criminal acts that he might have committed and then go from there.
And what about the videos?
Well, they're going to sift through those videos. They're going to look at them and then see if there's any criminality on those videos, and then they'll go from there.
The house of cards might fall for Diddy right now.
It's not looking that great. Right now, I know that he has higher-powered attorneys, and with all these allegations that are coming out against him and against other people, a lot of people are starting to be very nervous about what's going on.
The arrest came after a sealed indictment, which is expected to be unsealed soon. Homeland Security investigations made the arrest, and details about the specific charges against Combs are still unclear. His attorney, Mark Agnifilo, expressed disappointment, calling the prosecution unjust and asserting that Combs has been cooperating fully with the investigation.
Because P. Diddy be wanting the body, and you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no.
You looking around like, damn, like a lot of guys kissing each other in here, man. You feel me? What y'all do is y'all business.
So you've been to a party and seen this?
Oh, I've seen it firsthand, multiple times. I seen Dwight Howard in a pink dress, bro.
Sean Puffy Combs, AKA Diddy, spinning. I mean, this guy is a master, and the allegation is that Combs aided and abetted his son in this attack.
You heard about him catching the on the little designer dude? Imagine you got two 7-foot-tall, swole guys in dresses, cornering you in a hotel in a bedroom. You finna be scared. I distinctly remember going to a Diddy party. All the waitresses popping.
Diddy done turned over tapes, allegedly with the Carters in some freak off and the Beyonce. How on the cocaine?
Earlier this year, Combs was the focus of a sex trafficking probe by Homeland Security. This investigation led to dramatic searches of his homes in Los Angeles and Miami. The probe reportedly covers a broad range of issues, including sex trafficking, money laundering, and illegal drugs.
Some major breaking news to tell you about. Sean P. Diddy Combs has been arrested, according to TMZ. According to the New York Times, he was indicted in New York by a federal grand jury and was just taken into custody in Manhattan. As we know, he's been the subject of an investigation for some time now, Marla.
Fox 11 was first on the scene, in fact, in March. Here's that shot from Sky Fox when federal agents raided his Holmby Hills. So this is connected to that raid. There was also a raid of his property in Miami. His team tonight, his attorney putting out a statement saying, quote, he is an imperfect person but is not criminal, and goes on to say that they are disappointed with the decision to pursue what they believe is an unjust prosecution of Mr. Combs.
Since last November, Combs has faced 10 lawsuits, 9 of which accuse him of sexual assault. The federal probe appears to be a response to these allegations, as well as a wider investigation into his activities. Despite these claims, Combs has consistently denied any wrongdoing.
This tweet here that Sean Diddy Combs has been arrested after being indicted by a grand jury in New York. That's according to the New York Times, also according to TMZ as well here. It's not immediately clear what charges he is facing. So this is quite significant here. I want to just show you some file footage of Diddy over the years. Now, TMZ has an update saying that a law enforcement source is telling them the arrest was scheduled for Tuesday, but something happened that caused the feds to move in a day earlier. So Diddy, if you're just joining us here, was just arrested and taken into federal custody in New York tonight. Sources tell TMZ Homeland Security swooped into a Midtown hotel late Monday where Diddy was staying, and they arrested him. Also, TMZ says we have unconfirmed reports the feds are searching his hotel room. They were told that Diddy was taken to the FBI field office in Manhattan. So you will remember that earlier this year, you remember these scenes over his homes in both Miami and there, as well in Beverly Hills, where those search warrants were issued and those searches of his properties were given, and they were executed there at his homes as part of these ongoing criminal investigations into alleged sex trafficking. Now, at the time, it was very unclear what the search warrants referred to there at the time. But according to TMZ, the arrest tonight is in connection with those searches. And you remember at the time that we were over this story.
In response to the arrest, Combs' attorney has urged the public to reserve judgment until all the facts are known. He emphasized Combs' commitment to clear his name in court. Meanwhile, attorney Tyrone Blackburn, representing some of Combs' accusers, described the arrest as long-awaited and expressed hope that justice will prevail.
How you feel about the people that say that you should be going to prison for allowing Diddy to do the things that he was doing?
Let me just say this to you. It's not one victim in the complaint. And I've been on Art of Dialogue. I got over 10 interviews on Art of Dialogue probably. I probably got over 10 interviews with you, Mike.
More than that, actually.
All right. But it's not one individual that ever came and said, this guy I seen on YouTube was the one who held the door. This guy I seen on YouTube is the one who helped Puff do anything. Like Suge Knight said, and thank you for that, Suge. Suge Knight said, this was not the Puffy we know back then. All this came when he started moving out to California, when he moved out to California and started dealing with certain people, getting record deals, 10 million here. Yo, he got a record deal for $10 million and flopped, and came back and got another record deal and then turned in an album for $10 million and it flopped. Why? Why? That's the nature of what he was doing, because he was willing to go through those doors that people like Christopher Williams wasn't going through. Everybody heard the story. Everybody just ain't willing to talk about it. And if it ain't, that's their choice. But for these people who sit up there and run their mouth and talk about what I should do or I should go to jail, they just making that stuff of a content because they don't have no stories. They didn't live the life I didn't live. They wasn't there. They wasn't around. People didn't come to them and ask them to do certain things. You understand what I'm saying? So they mad. They upset that the Art of Dialogue then made Fox. The Art of Dialogue then made TMZ. The Art of Dialogue then made what was that? What was that other news program? Nightline. All these different things. They upset. No, get your content up. So it don't matter. I'm good. Name where name when I ever said I saw him do something. I told you I went to the hospital. Yeah, I see Kim faces moving. You understand? She in the hospital with her man. He about to, he bleeding, what is it, profusely. Profusely. He bleeding crazy from his wrist with a t-shirt wrapped around it because she took a corkscrew and said, yo, you hit me again. I wasn't there. I was told to go to the hospital to bodyguard him. You understand what I'm saying? I told people when him and Kim was in the room, he doing that play fight and shit like that, and she come out, I'm like, yo, you all right? She said, I'm good. And she'll stay out there, out the room for a little while, then she'll go back in. But I'm never gonna see him or nobody else. I ain't never been that type of dude. You're not gonna abuse no kids around me. You're not gonna abuse no women around me. And that's point blank. So they can say what they want to say, bro. You know what it is? It gives them content to talk about, to make up shit. Well, if this happened, if that happened. If ands and buts with candies and nuts, Christmas will be every day. But it's not, brother. You know what I mean?
This case is far from over. With ongoing investigations and legal battles, we can expect more developments in the coming weeks. Combs' future remains uncertain as the legal process unfolds.
Man, listen to me, bro. I was having a conversation with somebody, and they were saying the feds are so deep and involved in this that Diddy just might be called up on that Tupac shit once they go through the money trail. Once they go through the money trail and find out why certain people was given certain positions, that it may be a problem. Because they're gonna look at all that. Anything they can bring up, they're gonna bring it up.
Wow, so you think it's possible that they might put Pac murder on Diddy?
Yeah. That's why that tape of Cassie was released. So anybody who was willing to try to help him, anybody who was trying to say that he ain't capable of doing this and he ain't capable of doing that, they got it right there on videotape.
But you being around at that time, right? Because you was working at Bad Boy at that time when, you know, the whole Pocket Big thing was going on. You personally, do you think they can get Diddy on Pac murder?
Well, they always said something about $1 million check, and nobody knew where the $1 million came from. Puff may have said it in a couple of rap songs and things like that. But they would have to trace the check back to if that check Eric Von Zip had. And I'm not gonna say the person who they said they gave it to because I've said it before, and I told people who contacted me that I would bring old boy name up on that because of situations that he's having in the federal government right now. So if they trace it back to Eric Von Zip and say, why were you on, and he's dead now, but they have to explain why did he was able to get some publishing money or some kind of deal off the sale of Black Ground Records, and they put him as Tank manager or Tank something for Tank, this, that, and the third. Why did they do that?
Yeah, I got you. And when you say check, right, just to get some clarity for the people that don't know what you're talking about, you talking about the $1 million check, right, that they put on Tupac to get him killed, the hit?
Yeah, what I'm talking about is that if Puff has said on a couple of records that he'll pay $1 million to, you know, but he was just talking to people randomly. So now everybody said that, and Keefe D said that Puff told them that he'll give them $1 million. Now, do we believe that? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't. Because it was situations whereas that it could have got done by certain people that was around them, but it didn't happen. So when Zip came up with the check for $1 million, he said it was from Black Ground Records. And he said that who he got that money from. So now, if that's true, then the feds would have to go in and do a money trace on where did that check come from. And then they're gonna say why. Why was that check given to Eric Von Zip or Eric Zip Martin or Eric Martin? Why did that check was given to him? And saying that he had something to do with Tank. And he sold the company, which wasn't all his company anyway, for $1 million.
That's all for today's update on Sean Diddy Combs. Stay tuned for more news as this story develops.